All right, well, I think we're going to move on and talk to Cherie here for a minute.
My turn.
Your turn, Cherie.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just going to stand in this corner, but my work tends to go mostly around the corner, but a bit of Susan's in here.
Okay, all right. I can just put this down. You can just tell us a little bit about yourself first. I'm going to focus on the artwork instead of the sorry, it's just going to... I just need to tilt a bit.
If you unscrew it, yeah.
All right, just bear with me, everybody. Yeah. There we go. All right, so I'm tilting up a bit just so you can see Cherie's beautiful work here. It's very bold. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and then maybe get into a piece or two.
The show, I think a couple of shows ago, there was one called Big Bold Risk.
Right, yeah,
and when I saw that title, I went, oh, that sounds exactly like my pieces, because so often I have to fit into shows that don't really speak to abstracts necessarily.
Right.
They're a theme of the home or something. So I found that I have, over the past few years, spent more time on my art practice. Since about 2016, I went back to actually Central Tech.
Oh yeah?
Year. I decided that year I made a lot of personal changes. I think I realized I lost some weight, and then I was talking to my nutritionist. She asked me this question that was, if you died tomorrow, what would you have missed or wish, be unhappy that you hadn't done? And I said, well, nothing really, but maybe art. And that triggered me to decide to go to school for the full year, full time. And
wow.
I did pottery and printmaking, which I didn't think I would like, but I did find that just being in a creative environment 5 days a week, I liked it. I loved it. So after that, I wanted to spend more time painting, and I really felt that I enjoyed abstract. I like the Bay Area figurative artists also, and a lot of abstract expressionists. And
yeah, it's beautiful work. It's quite bold. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the piece here behind you here.
Yeah.
It's going to go up a little bit closer. So there's actually quite a bit of texture and layers in your work, similar to Susan's, Cherie.
So I was going to say that the piece above was just done all at one time with very little underneath it.
Right.
But this piece has a history, and I did put on my Instagram. It started out, actually, it was a canvas that a friend of mine sold me because she was moving to BC. So it already had a painting on. Then I put a painting on based on a small start that I had done.
Right.
That looked sort of like a waterfall, but it was vertical.
Oh, wow. It's really changed.
And then I didn't think it was really sellable or beautiful. I liked it. I liked some of the colors, but so I had it up at the cottage this summer, and I had quite a bit of time during COVID, and I had a garage studio sort of. But this one I hung on the wall outside of my garage, so I'm surrounded by trees and lake, and I think it picked up some of the colors from that. Anyway, it shifted from being sideways or vertical to horizontal, and it went through many different stages. And I think I was also doing a class where we were working with some collage bits, so there is, I think there's a little bit of collage in here. Well, I did see a piece of paper up here. And I think some of these little marks that look like squares probably came from some of the collage and the patterning that I was doing with a teacher, but I'd done that on very small pieces, and I thought, oh, it needs something. And if you look actually on my Instagram, it used to have more black lines through here, and I think I decided it was too much. So
let's just pull back and take a look at the piece all as one. Yeah, it's
but
beautiful.
It felt over and under. It felt like some kind of weaving to me, a basket weave.
Right.
I've actually turned it into products.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
So, and I really love them, and there's some that I have are headbands. But anyway, it's a tote bag, and anyway, I love it.
Oh, I love it too. It's beautiful. I think we've talked before about your work, Cherie. I was just wondering, so this painting started in many, many layers, and it took many, really switch the journey totally from vertical to horizontal, and then like some dark lines coming through, and you're not, you know, you're moving and changing a lot. But a lot of your work seems very gestural. Like, do you paint with your whole body? It almost seems like they're very broad. Some of your work here, I see right on this wall, for example, they're quite really big, bold strokes.
This one also has an old painting underneath. This one doesn't have anything underneath. It takes me a long time to get going when I paint.
Right.
Pat remembers, I used to say when we were taking classes at Cedar Ridge, I never really had any ideas when I walked in the class. I relied a lot on the teachers to get me started. I warmed up, and right now I work with a teacher Suzanne Metz, who likes us to do lots of little starts, because I find there's more energy in those, and I like having movement and energy in my work. So,
well, you
often
definitely see that.
I start slowly, and then as I get going, and I've done some things in my studio lately with, I don't think the piece is here, but I put it down flat, and I just use a big spatula, and I just make shapes. And yes, I like to stand, and I like to get movement. I think I talked to Netta about one. I think the piece behind you, and I tend to leave my work looking a little raw and unfinished. I think. And Netta wasn't sure if this painting was done, and I said yes, I think it is. Because for me, I always stop before I think it's really done.